Good evening. This is the August 14th, 2025 meeting of St. Mary's County Board of Appeals, located in the Commissioners of St. Mary's County Meeting Room in the Chesapeake Building, 41770 Baldridge Street, Lenotown, Maryland. I am Chairman George Allen Hayden, Sr., here with 4 other board members, and we have met our minimum requirements for our quorum and will now proceed with the meeting. We'll start with the introduction of our board, and we'll start to my left.
Donald LaRocco.
Good evening. I'm Rita Weaver.
I'm John Brown.
Ronald Payne.
And with us this evening also is Steve Scott, our board attorney, and Michael Balke, our alternate member. Supporting staff this evening is Zach Timlin, assistant county attorney, Stacy Clements, planner 4, land use growth management, Amanda Yoel, planner 4, land use growth management, Nick Colvin, planner 2, land use growth management. Is not here. And Andrew Beckman is our video media producer this evening. We have 3 public hearings on the agenda for this evening, and our first case this evening is a variance application VAAP 25-1100, the Hines. And Mr. Colvin, I guess you'll be presenting that this evening for us?
Yes, sir.
Great. And all 3 of you all presenting tonight? Okay. If you would, please, let me give you the oath. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimonies, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. So, whenever you're ready.
All right, good evening, board members. Our first public hearing this evening is variance application VAAP 25-1100 Hines property. They are requesting 2 variances. The first from section 51.2.4.c to reduce the setback from 10 feet to 5 feet between a principal structure and an accessory structure. And the second request is from section 51.3.122.a to reduce the 10-foot setback from the rear property line from 10 feet to 6 feet to construct a pool. The legal ad was printed on July 25th, 2025 and August 1st, 2025 in the Southern Maryland News. Certified mailings were sent to adjacent property owners located within 200 feet of the property in question, and a public hearing sign was posted on the property on or before July 30th, 2025. The owners of the property are Kevin Hines and LaShawn Hines. The property consists of 7,577 square feet and currently has an existing home with a deck that was built in 2009. The property is located at 24649 Broad Creek Drive in Hollywood. The land use is residential low density, and the zoning is residential low density RL. The property, as I mentioned earlier, is developed with a single-family dwelling that has a deck on the back portion of the house. The applicant is proposing a 14-foot by 28-foot in-ground pool. Since the project disturbs less than 5,000 square feet, it is exempt from the soil conservation and stormwater management requirements. And this is a copy of the current site plan. And this is a closer view of the site plan. The blue that you see is the proposed pool. The green surrounding it is the proposed pool decking and concrete. And again, just to reiterate, the first request is a reduction of the setback between the principal structure and the accessory structure from 10 feet to 5 feet, which is a 5-foot reduction of that setback. You can see on the site plan the proposed, in addition with this permit, there is a proposed 4-foot by 4-foot landing with steps. And the second request is a reduction of the 10-foot property line setback for the pool to 6 feet, which is a 4-foot reduction of the setback. So you can see the black here is the rear property line. 10 feet from that, you can see the red dashes are going through the pool, so they are requesting that reduction. So from the rear property line to the edge of the pool would be 6 feet. But that concludes the staff report. Are there any other questions for myself?
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Colvin?
Your first time, I've got to ask you a few questions. The property on that, if you go back to one of your slides, you showed, what is it, basically one piece of whole property that's to the rear of all those houses? Yeah, along there. In other words, it looks like all the houses along there, it's just one piece of undeveloped property?
They're their own separate lots, if you're
It's a
referring.
separate lot, but it's a single lot.
Correct.
Okay. And we have, as far as public comment, we have gotten no public comment from those property owners, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, just wanted to clarify that.
Okay.
I don't know if this
Go ahead.
should be to him or to the property owners, but what is behind there? I see like some open land and then like some trees.
The farm?
I believe this is all well, with the exception of a small piece of it, most of it is forested.
So I think their property, if you look at the square that we look, or rectangle we're looking at right now, is,
Right.
it follows the same fence line as the other properties. Am I correct in that, saying that?
That's correct.
Okay. So I do have a question, though. Can we go to the picture with the pool? That one. If the landing came out another foot, would that be connection and they wouldn't have to need a break between that and the principal structure?
So you're asking if the steps extended out by another foot? Is that
Yeah, it
correct?
looks like to me it's not much difference between where the steps land and the green for the concrete. And they would be a combined structure, right? They wouldn't need that variance for that?
No, well, they would still need the variance. The pool is the accessory structure.
Okay.
All the variance and measurements are from the pool, not from the pool deck, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. That takes care of me too. Thank you. Thanks for the question. That was good. Anything else, Mr. Colvin?
That's everything for
Anyone
me.
else have any questions for Mr. Colvin? All right. Who's making presentation tonight for the applicant? And you can take a seat right up front here. And before you sit down, if you would, please, let me get you sworn in, both of you. You're both going to testify? Yes. Okay. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimonies, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Thank you. Just have a seat. And I need you to move one of the microphones closer to you if you're going to speak, okay, please. And for the record, one at a time, if you give us your name and address, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Kevin Hines. This is my wife, LaShawn Hines. And we are the owners of 24367 Broad Creek Drive.
Okay.
So the legal ad and property posting, legal ad was created on July 18th, 2025, and printed in the local newspaper, Southern Maryland News, on July 25th, 2025, through August 1st, 2025. The applicant sent the notification to the neighbors within 200 feet on July 21st, 2025, and posted this yard sign on July 22nd, 2025. Again, we are the owners, Kevin and LaShawn Hines. Property location. The property location, again, is 24367 Broad Creek Drive, Hollywood, Maryland. And as you can see, the red pointer is pointing to the backyard. And to the right of us is a home with an existing fence, and to the left is a home with the existing fence and a pool. Again, same slide, existing conditions. Proposed conditions, 14 by 28 inch in-ground pool, agency reviews and approvals, Metcom approved, exempt from stormwater management and soil conservation required due to less than 5,000 square feet disturbance. This is a site plan with the blue showing the pool and the green space around it, which will be the decking around the pool, Again, site plan detail with the site plan and some pictures. So at the center top picture, it shows the red would be the outlining of the pool and the back, which is 6 feet. The white line would be the property line. And to the right of the screen, it's the top end of the pool, which showing 5 feet to the base of the deck, is the footer of the decking. And the center is a step back where you can see the 14-foot wide section of the pool. This next slide, you can see from above, we have a 2-tier deck, and showing from a distance the space, the narrowness that was created from the decking.
So can you go back to that picture, please?
Yes.
You have a square inside the square. What is
So
that?
the square inside that red square, it's going to be like a
7x7.
it's like a, go ahead.
It's like a 1-inch platform that the seat sits on. It's just the design.
Gotcha. Okay, it's part of the pool.
Design of the pool.
Okay. Thank you.
Go ahead.
This is just showing that, from
Can
that.
I get you to speak into the microphone?
Oh. This picture here on my right is showing the length of how it looks coming from the street area into it, saying that there's really no other place to place that pool, but we're replacing it. So we gave that picture so you can see the kind of like the whole of the backyard. And then you have the middle picture here is saying, the width of how long the pool will be from that width. And just another picture of the width of the pool on my left.
So actions completed on 5/31/2025. HOA approved the proposed pool design. 6/3/25 submitted the administrative variance package to the Department of Land Use and Growth Management Office. They completed the variance application, 9 sets of site plans, a letter of intent addressing the general standards, a debit of $500 payment to Department of Land Use and Growth Management. On 7/21/25, we mailed 16 public hearing notices to all properties within 200 feet of the subject property via first-class mail. Also on 7/21/25, we signed an affidavit of regular first-class mailing. On 7/21/25, we mailed another 16 public hearing notices to all properties within 200 feet of the subject property via certified mail. On 7/22/25, we posted the approved sign of 24 by 36 in front of the subject residence. Sign may remain posted until the hearing date, which is today, which is approximately 23 days. The sign was being posted. 8/6/25, we paid the $140 for the legal ad public notice to be posted in the Southern Maryland News. The intentions is to build a rectangular pool, 14 by 28 at the residence, extends 4 feet into the 10-foot setback from the rear property line at the narrowest point and 5 feet from the deck to the pool. All other walls of the pool will meet the 10-foot setback requirements. Standard A, because of particular physical surroundings such as exceptional narrowness, shallowness, size, shape, or topographical conditions of the property involved, strict enforcement of the ordinance will result in practical difficulties. Due to the exceptional narrowness of the property, adherence to the 10-foot rear property line setback will create an impractical narrow pool, leaving the pool width at 6 foot. After consulting with many pool contractors, the recommendation we received was to not build a pool less than 14 feet wide due to the safety concerns of users jumping in and impacting the adjacent wall. Standard B, Conditions creating difficulty are not applicable generally to other properties within the same zoning classification. Our plat is exceptionally narrow compared to other similar properties in the neighborhood due to the two-tier deck designed by the previous owners. Most other houses in the neighborhood have backyards that are at least 6 feet deeper than ours, or either poses no deck or poses a one-tier deck. The purpose of this variance is not based exclusively upon reason of convenience, profit, caprice. It is understood that any development necessarily increases property value, and that alone shall not constitute an exclusive finding. This variance is based on the property exceptionally narrowness and the previous owner's design of the deck, which causes concern for safety of users if the pool is too narrow. And, you know, basically, this is why, you know, we are coming in front of you all today, because without the request of the variance, the removal of the deck would diminish the property value. And to remove the lower portion of the deck, we have to move the upper tier of the deck as well.
Connected.
That is connected. The footers from above is also connected to the lower decking. Standard D, the alleged difficulty has not been created by the property owners or the owner's predecessors in title. This difficulty was not created by the current owners. It was created by the previous owner's design layout. There is a two-tier deck exiting the master bedroom onto a deck, and the lower deck exiting from the dining room onto the backyard. Before deciding on a variance, we considered removing the deck, but the previous owner's design and the house layout will cause further hardship and decrease the home's value. Removing the bottom deck exiting from the dining room would require removing the top tier deck as well. Therefore, it was recommended to request a variance instead. Standard E, the granting of this variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare or injurious to other properties or improvements in the neighborhood, and the character of the district will not be changed by the variance. The area directly behind my property line is an undeveloped and unused area backed by a wooded area. A 6-foot-high fence is currently on the left and right side of the property, which will be closed in once the pool is constructed to ensure the safety and privacy is protected. Standard F, the proposed variance will not substantially increase the congestion of public streets or increase the danger of fire or endanger the public safety, or substantially diminish or impair property values within the neighborhood. The residents will comply with all safety standards. A 6-foot-high fence is currently installed on the left and right side of the property and will be closed once the pool is completed. The residents will adhere to all building code ordinance to ensure public safety. The addition of the in-ground pool will help increase property value of the residents, thus increasing value for the entire neighborhood. The variance complies as nearly as possible with the spirit and intent and purpose of the comprehensive plan. The variance requested is for 6 foot from the pool to the property line and 5 feet from the deck to the pool. All other sides will comply with the setback and construction standards outlined in the comprehensive zoning ordinance. So, you know, we're requesting this today. We're great neighbors. We have great neighbors to our left and our right. And we would love to build this pool so that our children would be able to enjoy the pool.
Okay. Anybody, anything else?
That's it.
Anybody have any questions?
Can I ask about the deck and where the pool is going to be? Because you were asking to reduce from 10 feet to 5 feet. So can you bring up the pictures again?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that's a better one.
The-
Can you see this where?
Yeah, so is the bottom deck still up higher than the ground, or is that on, pretty much almost on the?
It's up higher. It's not on the ground.
So I have a better one in here I can show where it's a little bit.
There you go.
Yeah, you can see where it's up.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So does it, the upper deck, does it go way across the house or is it just in one section?
It goes across the same length as the lower
Okay.
deck.
But it's further back. It's
Yeah,
not as wide.
It's not, yeah,
as
it
the
doesn't
bottom.
extend out as far as the lower. It's slightly shorter
How
in length.
deep is your lower deck? From the house to the end of the deck?
The lower deck is, I believe it's like, I would say about 14 feet long
Okay. Along the width of the house or from the house?
from the house.
Okay. Nice deck.
Okay, you're going to build a fence across the back. Is it going to be, like I see in the pictures, another 6-foot high fence that
Yes,
goes
sir.
across the back,
Yes, sir.
similar to your
Yes.
neighbors?
Yes.
And
And I'm assuming that you'll have to get a larger diving board for the second deck to make the pool close to the lower one?
Trust me, there will be no diving.
Had to put some humor in this.
Yes, sir.
anyone else have any questions for the Hineses?
No.
Mr. Payne, you good? Any
Yes,
questions?
right now, yeah.
All right, let's open it up to public testimony. Anyone wishing to testify in this case this evening? And we have no written comments, correct?
That's correct.
Seeing none coming forward, the hearing is now closed for all verbal and written testimony, and the board's up for discussion.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask one more question of the applicants? Have you had any discussion with the owners of that back property, other than what the letter went out?
No, we haven't.
Okay, I just wanted to get it there for the record.
Mr. Payne?
Yeah. Mr. Scott, on this standards for granting a variance, on D, it says, the alleged difficulty has not been created by the property owner or the owner's predecessors in title. Well, difficulty? Is that the right word to use? I mean, they're applying for a variance. I mean, is every variance a difficulty?
Every variance is, involves conditions that create either unusual or difficult conditions. And you use the word, you hear the word a lot, undue hardship. And I think that, one could argue, well, wait a minute, the prior owner or somebody built that deck, or the developer laid out the lot on the subdivision plat, so was it the developer's fault? But I think generally that standard is meant to indicate that nobody intentionally created a situation where at some point in the future there was, the foreseeable need for a variance, and we don't have that situation here. We've got, a homeowner that bought a house, and I guess the deck was already there.
Yes.
And in my view, the case is they want to realize a land use that some of their neighbors are able to do, but for the narrowness of their lot, they're not able to do so. So that's the difficulty. That's the undue hardship.
Well, you could always buy a bigger lot.
I'm not sure that ship has sailed at this point for this subdivision. Yeah.
I got one on each side of me tonight.
One question for you, Mr. Hines.
Yes, sir.
How many swimming pools in the neighborhood?
It is currently 4 and we would be the 5th.
Okay, well, let me just ask you this. When do you plan on starting?
Weather permitting, sometime in January.
January?
Yes, sir.
Going to have an ice rink out there.
That's a bad time. Well, never mind. You know, you look at a swimming pool and say, oh, man, that's beautiful. But you better be good friends with your neighbors.
Oh, we are.
Because that tears up 10 acres. And I guess the access is going to be off of Broad Creek.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
We have neighbors that's on our left that has a pool, that's left, that has a pool. They went through the variance process as well. You know, we're good friends with them. But we also have neighbors that's on the right side who's asking us, you know, as we going through this process, he's asking us so that he can see, you know, he's thinking also about doing a pool too. So he's gonna know the same, you know, issues with the, you know, coming through with the machines and stuff like that. So they even on the right side wants a pool as well. So I don't know when they wants to do this, but they're asking questions about what we're going through now.
I'm surprised he didn't ask you to put a gate in the fence between and just use yours.
So they're thinking also.
Okay. And everybody else good with the questions?
Not a question, but just a comment, that make sure that when this is typed up later, we have the correct address,
Yes.
okay? Because there's two different addresses.
Yeah, I apologize. I believe we had the wrong address on there.
Okay, okay. I just wanted to make sure that we don't have the wrong one typed up later.
Thank you. Good point. So,
Was, I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, was the address correct in the letters in the public notice?
Yes, it was
Okay.
correct. Yes, sir.
Correct, yes.
Okay, we just want that noted for the
and
record.
for the record, what is the correct address?
The correct address is 24367 Broad Creek Drive, Hollywood, Maryland.
Okay, you have it correct in yours.
20636.
It's correct in yours. Where would you see a different one?
Okay, look at the
presentation.
presentation.
Gotcha, okay.
Because when I saw the presentation, that's the like I took that, because I got it before this, and I looked that up, and then I was a little confused when I had two different pictures. So, I just
Blame it
went,
all on Nick.
That was it right there.
I should.
24367 is here on this presentation.
Yeah. One of the presentations just
I believe
said-
it was our staff report that had
Gotcha.
24649. I believe that was
Electronically.
the address.
Okay, thank you. All right. As long as we got the right one to be typed, that'd be great. Anybody else have any comments? If not, I'll give mine.
No.
I don't see that there's an issue here at all. I think not that there's any blame to be put on the homeowners, because they bought the house as it is. And they want to enjoy what they can enjoy out of it, and I don't have a problem with the pool at
Yeah.
all. I don't have a problem with either one of the setbacks. So, and I think you made a nice presentation, to be honest, okay?
Yeah, I was going to say, you're really good at this.
Absolutely. We don't normally see those well of presentations
Wow.
from a homeowner, okay?
In
From
fact,
people
yeah,
that have been here before, you know, some of the land use guys, some of the attorneys, know we'll do a nice presentation, but for a homeowner to bring a presentation like this in front of us is pretty good.
Yeah, it was very clear.
yeah, you ought to be used as a model. I mean, literally laying out the way you did on the ground,
Yep.
painted, was very good.
Yep.
It helps in our decision-making.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? Okay, no more, I'm moving for a motion. Please.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, go ahead.
In the matter of VAAP 25-1100, the Hines property, having made a finding that the standards for granting a variance and the objectives of section 24.3 of the St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance have been met, I move to approve the variance requested from section 51.2.4, C, to reduce the setback from 10 to 5 feet between a principal structure and an accessory structure in sections 51.3.122.A 2 to reduce the 10-foot setback from the rear property line from 10 feet to 6 feet to construct a pool.
Have a motion on the floor?
Second.
Have a second? And we'll start with Mr. Rocco.
Aye.
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 Aye. Ms. Hines, you can see the board has voted unanimously to support your request this evening.
Thank
okay?
you.
A order reflecting the board's decision will be prepared by staff and signed by the board within 60 days. A 30-day period follows from the date the order is signed, in which any aggrieved party may appeal this board's decision in circuit court. And the recording secretary will email you a copy of the order once it's been signed. Okay?
All right.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Enjoy your pool.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Watch out for those diving boards.
Okay. You need some in the audience or here? Who's needing them? Okay. Who needs hearing? Mr. Brown, you okay hearing right now? Do you need a hearing?
Oh, if you got it, I'll take it, because you never know.
Okay. All right, while you.
It's sort of like, huh?
Are you ready? There we are. He's on target.
Thank you.
Our second case this evening is a variance request, VAAP 24-2243, Neville Byers.
Okay, so the public hearing, second public hearing this evening is VAAP 242243, the Byers Neville property. The applicants are requesting a variance from St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, Section 41.5.3 I-1, to exceed lot coverage limits to construct a porch. The legal advertisement was printed on July 25th and August 1st in the Southern Maryland News, and certified mailings were sent to adjacent property owners located within 200 feet of the project property, and a public hearing sign was posted on the property on or before July 30th, 2025. The owners of the property are Diane Byers and John Neville, and the property consists of 1.02 acres and is developed with an existing home built in 1982. There's also a deck attached to the home. The property is located at 24548 Half Poon Point Road in Hollywood. Its land use is rural preservation, and it is zoned rural preservation district. The critical area overlay is limited development area, and the property is currently developed with an existing home. Critical Area Commission responded on 7/3/2025, and the Health Department approved the plan. Lugum approved the zoning and floodplain requirements, and it is exempt from stormwater management as it proposes to disturb less than 5,000 square feet of soil. As mentioned previously, the applicant is requesting a variance to construct a new porch that extends over an existing patio. Critical Area Commission, I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself here. The Critical Area Commission opposed the variance and states that the applicant bears the burden of demonstrating that each and every one of the variance standards has been met, including the standard of unwarranted hardship. Here is the proposed site plan. And then a closer look at the site plan. You can see the proposed porch here outlined in red. And then the shaded area is that portion that bumps out past the existing patio. The applicant will plant a total of 400 square feet of mitigation, and a buffer management plan must be approved by Lugum staff prior to the issuance of a building permit. Does the board have any questions for staff?
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Joel? Seeing none, we'll move on to the applicant. Are you the only one presenting tonight?
I am.
Okay. If you would, please. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
All right, have a seat. And before you get started, if you would give us your name and address, please, for the record.
Name is John Neville. The address for the variance is 24548 Half Pone Point Road, Hollywood, Maryland, 20636.
Thank you.
Good evening, Board. Thank you for this opportunity to discuss our intent and design and what we're proposing to do with our house that we've purchased. Diane and I recently purchased the home and have undergone a construction project to renovate the inside of the house because it's a bit dated, and wanted to replace the deck on the back coherent with the existing design, and then extend a part of that deck slightly beyond the boundaries of the house, and it's actually a covered portion, which I believe is the reason for the request of this variance, because it's a covered portion of that deck in the red area there. And as we come in closer. So the reason we want to do that is to provide some shade and protect them from the elements, allow our families to gather. We also have an elderly mother, a 92-year-old, who gets around by a wheelchair. And the design we purposely laid out to incorporate the inside of the house to go to the outside, that's the main level of the house. It allows for her ease of access and others' ease of access for all of our family members in that area. To kind of give a overall description of what we're trying to do, the existing house is there, what you see in the blue and white portion, and it's that back portion facing towards the water that's gabled is what we're looking to extend out over the existing deck there, so we can enjoy the outdoors, and it's an entertaining area and gathering area for our family as well. So as you can see, it extends past that concrete pad below, is the patio below that exists there, which the shallower part of the deck aligns with there, and then it's really that protruding part that we're asking the variance for, and it's about a 5 foot by 28, 30 foot square, 5 foot by 28 foot section bumped out, and we understand the requirements for planting and the buffer mitigation, and we've support the 400 square feet that's required to support that, and have actually proposed just about 1,000 square feet of additional buffer in that critical area zone. The house itself, and this is not in the 100-foot buffer area. So that is what we're intending to try and achieve here. And I just wanted to amplify some of the standards for granting the variances. As I mentioned, it's to allow us to enjoy the outdoors, protect them from the elements, and again, to allow sufficient space to safely maneuver about the deck, especially for our aged parents and our mother who's in a wheelchair. And the design is intended to allow for that, so it's comfortable movement around the deck. The next slides. So for standards B, C, and D, in addition to 50 square feet of a planned removal of a small shed that's already in the backyard that is in the 100-foot critical area, we are amenable to, if we need, there's some large driveways, we're amenable to removing portions of those, but it would have to be the upper driveway where family comes and parks, especially Diane's mom. And we'd like to preserve that, but we're amenable if we have to remove that to affect any offsets of the extra square feet that 5 foot bump out is encroaching. We're amenable if we need to remove that. But In the meantime, we're satisfying the buffer mitigation plan that we're submitting for approval as well. The variance request does not arise from any conforming or non-conforming conditions due to neighboring property. With respect to granting the variance, would not adversely affect water quality or adversely impact fish, wildlife, or plant habitat within the jurisdiction, local critical area. We're very sensitive to the critical area and environmental concerns. We plan to use rain collection barrels as part of the downspout design that collects water off the roofs. We've, as I mentioned, the buffer mitigation plan that we've presented exceeds the required amount, and we plan to do additional landscaping throughout the entire property just to improve its posture and nature. Additionally, we've had St. Mary's County Weed Control come out and address some a large portion of phragmites that was along the water, and we've also had the riprap replenished to help prevent any additional erosion along the shoreline. In regards to granting the variance would be in harmony with the general spirit and intent of the critical area, in the regulations in the subtitle and low critical area program. It is our intent to mitigate any of the impacts that this extension of the cover design might impart, to include the mitigation plan, and if necessary, well, would prefer not to, but if removing an existing amount of lot coverage primary from one of the driveways, we'd be amenable to that. The granting of the variance will not be detrimental to public welfare, injurious to other people or property, improvements in the neighborhood. It will not degrade the character of the district, and it also, the proposed variance will not increase the congestion of the public streets, increase danger of fire, any other public safety or concerns as well. That concludes my brief, unless there's any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Neville?
I have several.
Yes.
Okay, so according to where the Critical Area Commission sent something back, that they had asked about redesigning your project. What have you looked at to redesign what you were doing?
So part of the discussion I had when I brought this to the county was that the bump at the depth of that, let me pull up the depth of that deck, as you can see here, along the back wall, it's all sliding glass windows where people immediately come out. So it's kind of we looked at it as a traffic area along the back edge of the house, and we wanted that deck area to have sufficient seating and really to also allow, Diane's mom to get around easily in her wheelchair throughout the house, because she visits quite frequently. She's local here in St. Mary's County. So that's primary. It was from a design standpoint, and comfort and movement is really what preceded it. There were discussions about, can we just not extend the roof out over there, but we would like to have full cover of that area if possible. And that's when I asked about what are some options here. I said I would trade some other property lot coverage if necessary, but from a design and use standpoint that would be amenable to us and favor our conditions. That was purposeful in the whole design of the house as we bought this property for that purpose.
So I see it's not in the 100-foot buffer area, which is good, but how big is the shed that you have that is in the?
It's about 5 by 10 feet next. There's two sheds. I can.
Because it looks like one's a pump house.
There's a pump house. There's a large shed, and then there's an unannotated. If I can. Can you go back?
Can we
to
see that?
The
Do we have any
large,
pictures of that?
the large
by
site
chance?
plan? Yeah. If we could go to the large site plan. So in the large site plan, you see the pump house. Down to the left, there's a rectangle to the right of that that says external shed. And then just below that, there's a small 5 by 10 foot shed right there that we're going to remove. That's the 50 square feet of shed that's in the critical area that we plan.
And you said you were removing that?
Yes, we are removing.
Okay, that answers that question then.
And the pump house covers your well?
It is, that's the pump house for the well.
And the shed you're removing, how do you use it now? Is it associated with the,
It's got the lawn equipment and everything else to take
okay,
care of
it's
the
for lawn
backyard.
equipment as opposed to supporting the pier and the water?
So it's primary lawn equipment right now.
Okay, okay,
And then we.
all right.
So, Mr. Well, they are out of the buffer, the 100-foot buffer. What's causing the critical area to be so comprehensive in their report? Do you know?
I think there was something about some kind of soil in here.
Was there something I missed? Because they have like a 3-page report, and that's unusual. We normally get something short that they don't like it, but they've been through each and every one of the variances and everything on this one. And that's kind of unusual for them. There's just something here that we're not seeing that would cause them to do that.
I think the concern is there's existing grandfathered lot coverage that exceeds the lot coverage limits by quite a bit, but that lot coverage is grandfathered. It was existing
Right.
before program adoption. And so they're, objecting to exceeding the lot coverage even further. This also is a new reviewer, and so his writing style is different than previous
Okay,
reviewers.
all right.
So-
I understand that part of it. But where I'm at, and when I read this thing, I know they are well over the allowed amount of lot coverage. But
That's,
a large portion of that has already been grandfathered in. So this is just an addition to what's been grandfathered. Am I
Correct.
correct?
correct. It's
And
a
it's only a
small
f-
increase,
It's
correct.
only like a 4-foot by 20-foot, if I read this thing correctly. Is that my
Right.
It's
correct?
5 feet, it's just under 5 feet by 28. I listed it as 5 by 30. And that's what we predicated
But
on.
it's not in the 100-foot buffer. That's,
No.
Correct.
That is correct.
So it's 140 square foot, if I get it right. Is that correct?
That's what-
Roughly?
That's it, with a 50-foot trade-off, right? Yeah, so 5 times 30 is
If I
150
take
minus
5
50 is 100,
times, 5 times 28 gives me 140.
140. I'd
Okay.
round it up.
If we
about-
take away, 50,
you're at 90.
we're down to 90 feet. This report from up in Annapolis is kind of ridiculous. To be that picky over a 50-foot addition to this lot that had been grandfathered in probably before the person that wrote it was born. So I'd have to take that with a grain of salt tonight. I'll be honest with you. I don't agree with them whatsoever on this one. You know, they kind of hit home on saving the rivers and stuff, but I don't think this 50-foot's going to make that, or 90-foot's going to make that much difference. You know, as long as he follows the directions. But I'm not going to.
Right.
I don't. I'm saying too much right now, but I'm kind of.
I'll go back to actually what Ms. Weaver asked, and maybe I'll get you to reiterate it again.
Sure.
Just to make sure that when this is documented, we get it documented. The paragraph 4 of the Critical Area Commission, and they really kind of went off on you, and they want to redesign the whole damn thing, to be blunt about it, okay? And I just wanted what your comments were as a rebuttal to that particular paragraph, so that we can really get it documented,
So the
okay?
redesign, if I had to go back and redesign, that would have huge cost implications to me personally to change the back of the house, because it's opened up purposely for the waterfront. It would not allow sufficient use of a deck for most decks I've had at the homes I've lived here are at least 15 by, that 15-foot dimension allows for comfortable use of a deck, generally speaking, from a design standpoint. So it was all driven by design as to what would fit, comfortable, smart using space. And then, we have some elderly family members and their mobility all came into play. So to not have that, it would, I think, rob our mom to kind of enjoy this outdoors and stuff with us. So am I answering, giving you how?
Well, I just want to make sure that when documented in the order that we are very clear as to why
We've
Why we
covered
did
the
not go
unwanted
in-
it's
hardship.
done, okay?
We've covered the unwanted hardship.
Yeah,
That's right.
that's all I'm trying to do, is make sure that it's
Appreciate
covered.
it.
Because I think we're all leaning the same way.
I appreciate it.
But the other thing you alluded to, and I don't want you to concede it, but you talked about the driveway for the mother-in-law, okay? Is that gravel or is it paved or what is it?
It's all paved.
It's paved, okay.
paved.
But right now, it is not included in this request, correct?
It is not included. part
As
of
far
the
as
request.
giving up any land.
Correct, when I went,
Okay.
correct.
Hey, sir, nice to see you since I saw you last. Just quick questions for me. So you're redoing the internal of your house, so it makes sense to match the outside and the inside. I would do that. You've already fixed the water line. You're willing to give more planning of the buffer area, and you're giving up your shed. Pretty much. If I got that right, pretty much?
Correct.
Okay. I'm good, sir.
Mr. Payne, you have a question?
Yeah, reading this missive from the Critical Area Commission, Mr. Scott, who's in charge of the county's critical area program?
So the critical area laws are a state law, but the way that the state law operates is they've delegated the implementation and the enforcement to the local zoning authorities within the counties. And you can see that these variances, this letter really highlights it. They're very factually driven, and reasonable people can certainly differ on how they view the facts depending on, their background and their experience. And I think that's what we have from the Critical Area Commission. They're sort of looking at the situation and the undue hardship and the need or lack of need for this improvement on the property in a different way than other people may.
So in essence, you're saying it's this board?
It's up to the local counties to enforce the, implement and enforce the critical area laws, yes.
Okay.
Now, the Critical Area Commission can disagree with us, and we often disagree with them. They certainly have the legal authority to appeal our decisions, and they've done it in the past. But I think this board needs to look at the evidence in front of them, look at the facts in the situation, and make their own decision and weigh the evidence, make their own decision applying the standards that exist in the CZO and the critical area laws.
Mr. Neville, I personally believe in quid pro quo. And, I guess maybe this person, and I've seen him, I don't think this guy is new. I've seen his name on a bunch of them. I guess the big thing is the 2857, and that they're over lot coverage. Well, the fact that you're doing a redesign and you do have an elderly person in there from time to time, and you're providing more plantings in where they should go, I guess. I guess I could look past this. But, if it was close, that's one thing. This isn't, in my view. So if you have somebody to think it's your 92-year-old mother or her mother. And one last thing, that house looked familiar. Was that Dunn?
Mr. Dunn, Richard Dunn was a previous owner, correct?
Yeah. I used to go down Hobie's until I couldn't see the water. And then I got ejected. Everybody's giving me a bunch of lip. Then finally, two fishermen were over there. Because, you got to get the thing back up. So they come over there and give me a bunch of lip too, then help me get it back up. So, yeah, I'm familiar with that place. Okay.
Mr. Dunn was a great gentleman when I met him and we purchased the house, and he's enjoying Florida right now, as I understand it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Just a quick one, sir. The stairs, there's a back stairwell going up. How wide are them stairs? Do you know?
The stairs, the planned stairs would be a 5-foot wide opening on that.
Well, I'm just wondering, you mentioned a wheelchair, so there's the American Disabilities. Is it wide enough for all that?
It's wide enough, and we bring her through the front of the house to go
Okay.
straight. There's no stairs to the deck, it's just the sliding glass door. So she comes in the front of the house,
Okay,
go operate that way, not.
I'm good, sir.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Neville?
I would just like to extend tremendous thanks to Amanda and the staff that have helped me through this.
Okay. We're not over with yet, but we're working on it.
Regardless, I thank them tremendously.
And we appreciate that, and I'm sure they do as well. Okay.
Wait to the final answer.
Right.
My opinion, my thanks would not change, but I appreciate, understand.
All right, let's open it up to public comments. I don't remember. Did we have any? We didn't have any public comments on this. Written comments, did we? No, I
Mr.
don't
Neville,
see
did
any.
you have one letter in support? Was there an email in support or a letter in
No,
support?
I just had
I may have
mentioned to
been
you all
mixing
my
up.
neighbors
the other
are
one.
excited about.
I don't see any on the
Okay,
board
I
docs at all.
apologize.
So we open up public testimony. Anyone wishing to testify in this case this evening? Ma'am, you came in a little late. Do you want to testify in this case this evening? I don't want to shut you out. I guess not. So the hearing is now closed for verbal and written testimony, and we'll get into our discussion. So,
Sounds like a good plan to me, sir. 90 feet, giving up shed, fix the riprap, matching the inside of his house. That seems pretty reasonable to me.
yeah.
Ditto what Donnie said.
Anybody else have any comments? So my comments is that before this gentleman started his renovations, the entire piece of property was grandfathered. So the additional space that I see only is 90 feet with the trade of the other shed. So I don't see where 90 feet comes anywhere near the unwarranted hardship at all. Okay, I think it's just a thing that they needed to do to cover the porch, get it closed in so everybody can enjoy the water frontage without being attacked by the 10-pound mosquitoes that is probably down there, right? So I do believe that the unwarranted hardship is covered under what we've been looking at this evening. So just to make sure that we have that in the record. And I'm all in favor of what he wants to do, so. Mr. Payne, you have any comments?
No.
And I already kind of tipped my hand in earlier questions.
So I am, if there's no other comments, then if someone would like to make a motion?
In the matter of VAAP 24-2243, the buyers in Neville property, having made a finding that the standards for granting a variance in the objectives of Section 24.4 of the St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance have been met, I move to approve the variance request from Section 41.5.3.I1 to exceed a lot coverage limits to construct a porch.
Have a motion,
I'll second.
and we'll start with
Aye.
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 aye. Mr. Neville, you can see the board has voted unanimously to support your request this evening. Order reflecting the board's decision will be prepared by staff and signed by the board within 60 days. A 30-day period follows from the date the order is signed, during which any aggrieved party may appeal this board's decision in circuit court. And the recording secretary will will email you a copy of the order once it's been signed. Okay?
Great.
All right,
Thank
good
you.
luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation as well. It's
See you,
good.
Colonel.
Our third case this evening is a variance request VAAP 25-1027. Clinker?
Clicker, sorry.
Quicker? Huh, okay. I tore that up, didn't I? But that's okay. Whenever you're ready.
So as you mentioned, the third public hearing this evening is VAAP 251027, the Clicker property. They're requesting a variance from the St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance, Section 41.53I1, to exceed the lot coverage limits for a new dwelling with a deck, patio, and parking pad. The legal advertisement was printed in the Southern Maryland News on July 25th and August 1st, 2025. Certified mailings were sent to adjacent property owners located within 200 feet of the project property, and a public hearing sign was posted on the property on or before July 30th, 2025. The property is owned by the Clicka Trust. The property is 29,500 square feet and is currently developed with a home, sheds, and a carport. The property is located at 23864 Old Chaptico Wharf Lane in Chaptico. Its land use is rural preservation. It is zoned Rural Preservation District. The critical area overlay is limited development area. Here are the existing conditions on the property. As mentioned previously, the property is developed with an existing home, a carport, some sheds. Sheds over here as well. The applicant is requesting to exceed lot coverage limits to remove an existing dwelling and construct a new dwelling with a deck, patio, and parking pad. The Critical Area Commission opposes this variance request. The Department of Land Use and Growth Management has approved the site plan for zoning, stormwater, and floodplain requirements. And additionally, the Health Department and Soil Conservation District have also approved the site plan. Here's the proposed plan and the site plan detail. The existing house, carport, and driveway to be removed are shown here in the dotted lines. Driveway over here. And the proposed development is shown in the solid line. New house here, parking pad. And then there's a deck back here. The applicant will plant a total of 5,296 square feet of mitigation. And buffer management plan must be approved by Lugum staff prior to the issuance of a building permit. Are there any questions for staff?
Anyone have any questions for Ms. Yoel?
How much coverage, square foot coverage, are they removing in order to be able to do this?
So they are removing, apologize, let me go back. Outline that for you. removing 5,462 square feet.
What was that?
5,462 square feet to be removed. And then they are adding, and this is all in the site plan here, but I would have to, if I can zoom in. I don't know if I can on this one, Stacy, can I, in the presentation? Probably can't zoom in on the site plan in the presentation. Let me see if I can pull it up from Board Docs.
Hmm? Oh, okay.
So down here in the left are the lot coverage tables. You see those? So, excuse me. To be removed, 5,462 square feet. And then they're adding 2,923 square feet. So we're left with a total of 5,749 square feet.
But existing right now, it's 6,200.
288 square feet, correct.
Okay, so,
So
Okay.
there is the garage, doesn't come over. And the driveway went from 1,332 square feet down to 42?
That's correct, because they are accessing the property from a driveway on the adjacent parcel. Rather than this circular drive you see here, they're removing that, and then they're coming in from this adjacent parcel. They also own the adjacent parcel, I believe.
Okay. Huh. Can we go back to those numbers, please?
I'm sorry?
Can we go back to those numbers?
Back to the numbers, sure.
So the existing total is 6288, and the proposed total is 5749. Is that what I'm reading?
Correct.
Okay.
Since the coverage is new, it's considered, they're exceeding the limit, even though it's ultimately a reduction in the total lot coverage on the parcel.
is that why then, where is it? From the Critical Area Commission on page 2, it's like, I guess the third paragraph after it asks for the variance standards, it said, redevelopment to exceed the coverage limit up to pre-existing lot coverage, which this project fails to meet. So, can you please explain that?
You're looking at
Go back up, go back to the page before. Okay, right there, it says a vested property is already afforded consideration, and then it says, go down a little bit, additionally, St. Mary's County has specific provisions that would allow for redevelopment to exceed the coverage limit up to pre-existing lot coverage, which the project fails to meet.
I'm not really sure I understand the meaning of that sentence, because, so what they're saying is there are provisions in the regulations that allow a lot of this size to have 5,445 square feet, rather than just the 15% that's allowed. And St. Mary's County has specific that will allow for redevelopment to exceed the coverage limit up to the pre-existing lot coverage. So I'm not really sure. I think there was some, I think what they're referring to is impervious surface trading. But when we did the calculations for impervious surface trading, it was off by 100 square feet. So they didn't qualify to do that impervious surface trading based on the requirements of that regulation. The requirements of that regulation was that all the lot coverage existed prior to program adoption. And so there was a carport that they couldn't get credit for under those provisions. So they will often refer to the impervious surface trading provisions, but we have to meet all of those requirements before that can go before the Planning Commission. And this application was off by 100 square feet because of the carport, and when the carport was placed there, it was after program adoption. And they're removing it, so it's a non-issue. It wasn't, we're not showing that it was existing prior to program adoption. We're not showing a permit for the carport, but they're removing it, so it's a non-issue ultimately. So that's why they don't qualify for the impervious surface trading that I believe Mr. Making is referring to in his letter.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of.
Okay, it just was a little confusing when I was reading through this.
Right, I agree.
Okay.
And there were only, what, 2 letters that have been received?
That is correct, to my
Okay.
knowledge.
Okay. Anyone else have any questions? Who's making the presentation tonight for the applicant? Mr. Long and Buckner. Good evening.
Both of,
Okay.
if you guys want to get sworn in.
If I can get you, do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Have a seat. Mr. Lomo, we'll start with you with the introductions, okay?
Okay, thank you. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Chris Longmore here on behalf of Wendy Klicka, my client. You'll see at the table with me Barry Vuckmer, who's going to do the primary presentation of the site plan and the variance standards. He has a PowerPoint prepared. Ms. Klicka is then going to speak after Barry does that presentation. Just a couple opening comments. A lot of this was touched on during the staff report. One thing for the board to know, this property's been in my client's family, I believe, since the 50s. You can see the deed that's part of the staff report. That was her grandfather that originally owned it. It's stayed in the family since then. A couple of things about this one that we think is worthy of consideration, and it came up in your discussion. There is a reduction of actually 539 square feet of lot coverage, and Mr. Buckner can confirm that. There was the site plan that was shown to you had a mathematical error in it. It was a prior version of it. Mr. Buckner can confirm that. And if you do the math of those numbers in there, that's what it comes out to. So this is actually reducing the lot coverage. There's going to be plantings done with it because it is development in the critical area that will increase the plantings there. The Critical Area Commission, as recently as I believe March, in one of their comment letters where Mr. Buckmer and I happen to be representing the applicant before you, commented that when there is a reduction in lot coverage and there's plantings along with it that is beneficial to the environment. I have that letter from the same reviewer that commented to that. He didn't say it in this letter tonight, but he said it in other letters. So we believe that this will be much more in line with the critical area goals once this redevelopment is done. We do also think, and Mr. Buckmer will touch on this, one of the unique aspects of this property that really constrains it in a way that other properties are not, and you'll see it in the aerial photos, there's actually a private road that runs through the middle of it that's used by the neighborhood. All the neighbors use that. That adds up, I believe, to 1,418 square feet of lot coverage. So that's an area that this applicant has no control over changing because the neighborhood uses that road just like she uses that portion on their lots. So it's already kind of in a negative when you start here. So when you look at that, coupled with the reduction in lot coverage that Mr. Vuckmer will speak about with the additional plantings, we think that this is kind of a classic property that can show the unwarranted hardship, show the uniqueness of the property, and we think it'll be warranted. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Vuckmer to go through the details.
Mr. Vuckmer, how you doing? For the record, if you would give us your.
Sure. Barrett Vuckmer, 22660 Washington Street, Leonardtown, Maryland.
Okay,
Here in
thank
town.
you.
Ms. Aid, I had a question for him.
For Mr. Lomo?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, sure.
The report you got from the Critical Area Commission, are you going to share that with us?
The one from the prior hearing?
Well, no, you talked about.
Sure. Sure. the application, I'll be happy, I brought a copy with me. It was a hearing that I believe was heard in March of this year. I don't have the specific date in front of me. It was a property in Tall Timbers. The board may recall it was the redevelopment of an accessory dwelling on a property. So there are actually two dwellings on one property. They were redeveloping that, likewise removing lot coverage, and that so there'd be less lot coverage. That one was ending up with 39.7% of the site covered. This one is only 19.5%. In that, the board, it was one of the short letters that the chair mentioned before. It did raise, concern, but said we would need to meet the standards. And the provision that I was referring to, and I'll hand this up to the board so you can review it, and I'll read the provision that while the provisions of impervious surface training precludes the replacement existing lot coverage while exceeding lot coverage, there should be a net benefit to the water quality in the critical area. So the reviewer in this case acknowledged that since there was less lot coverage at the end of the day, it should be a net positive. And that was from Mr. Macon, Michael Macon. The letter is dated March 3rd of this year. So I'll be happy to provide that to Amanda.
That's the same person that has been writing these? Okay.
That's correct. Yeah, it was the same, at least the same name that we saw on it. Thank you. Okay, Barry.
Sure. So here is a copy of the site plan. I would point out that Wendy Wendy owns the property to the south as well, and we're going to use her driveway. So we've removed all access from the existing old Chapco Wharf Road.
Do
and
you
she's gonna-
have a layout of that so we can see?
I do. It's on the site plan here on this second picture. I don't know if
Okay.
can you point to that? On the second, the proposed, to the right there. Yeah, so those are the two driveways that are getting removed. And there's another driveway that's to the south of that tree there as well. So the pad on the side is, we've pushed the house to the building restriction line to the south, and we're just going to come off of the existing driveway.
So where her marker is now, all that goes away?
Yes, yeah, we have reduced everything off of this site that we possibly could. We slid the house back as far as we could. The septic tanks in the back were exactly 10 feet off of those, so we can't come any further off the water with the new house as well.
Thank you.
And this is just a bird's eye view, and you can see to the south here where that driveway is that we're going to use to the other lot that she owns. And if we get an approval, we'll get an easement to do that.
So the drive that goes between the lot, the markers at the, right there, there's a road between those two houses, looks like to me.
I'm sorry?
Come on, bring your marker down something, go up, right, see, to your left, to my left. There's a road, is that a road that comes down between all
Yes, sir,
those
that's
lots?
old Chapco Wharf Road.
That's what I
that
thought.
continues on through.
Right, it goes back out to
Yes, sir.
Chapco Wharf.
Yeah, and
So-
it serves several houses to the south as well.
Yes. So the house there at 23,864, in front of that, to the water side, there's another building. What is that?
It's a shed.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And that entire lot is owned by your applicant, by your client?
Correct.
Okay.
That's correct. That's one lot, Mr. Chairman, and the road that you mentioned, that was what I was mentioning, that the square footage of that portion of the road is 1,418
Right.
square feet.
So
That's
this
counted as-
operates similar to what they do down at Tall Timbers?
Yeah, very,
on that
very
point
similar to
then.
that.
Gotcha.
Yeah, very
All
similar.
right.
to that.
Do you have a picture of that way he's talking about? The shed?
I'm not sure if we,
Down there by the
here's a
water.
portion of it in the front. On this first picture, you can see that the gravel in the bottom going up, no, the very bottom of that picture is old Chapco Wharf Road.
Right.
Yes, right there.
Okay.
Yep.
Ask a question on the road. I know I had a discussion with the attorney and also Amanda over there about the road. Is that always the case where they count the road, that gravel road, as part of the impervious surface?
In my experience, yes.
If it's within the boundaries of the lot, they do. You know, most lots, the roads, your lot's behind the road or just adjacent to it. You know, so you come down your road and turn onto your lot, so it's not part of it. Here, there's a road that services this property, but all the other properties along that stretch, that is part of her lot. So the Critical Area Commission and the regulations count that as lot coverage. So essentially, when you start with this lot, you have an overall square footage. You already have a minus 1,418 before you can do anything, because that road already exists there. And my client can't do anything about it, even if she wanted to, because it serves everybody else in the neighborhood. They have a right to use it, just like
I
she
didn't
has a
know
right
if that was the norm, that they did that.
But
Yeah,
were the other lots landlocked if you didn't have that?
I believe so. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So in the second photograph, you can see where my truck is parked. That will be the new access. Yeah, there'll be a driveway that, a concrete pad that connects into that driveway. And then this just shows the mound system and the house in the back. Gives you kind of a view of that carport that's going to be removed as well.
The sort of an undocumented carport, right, from the other discussions?
Correct, yes. But because it's going to be removed, it's kind of a wash.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. And then this is the shed that's across the street, and it gives you kind of the waterfront view of the Potomac as well.
Nice shed.
Yeah.
That's a shit.
Yes. I think it's for rent. I'm not sure.
And then this is the front of the house that's proposed, and you can see the garage door in the back. The pad will stick off of that and go into the neighboring driveway. And then this is a rear view. And that kind of wraps it up.
And I know Wendy wanted to share with you a little bit about the history of the property and kind of how that design of the house came about.
And before you get started, let me get you sworn in, please. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimony and responses and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thanks. And for the record, your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is Wendy Ann Klicka, and I currently reside at 23854 Old Chaptico Wharf Lane. Good evening, Chair and members of the board. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak tonight about my family's home and our request for a modest variance to exceed the lot coverage limit. This property has been in my family for 75 years. My grandfather built the first home here in the 1950s. My father cared for it from 87 until 2007 when he entrusted it to me. My plan is to pass it on to my only child, who's here tonight with me, along with my grandchildren in the back. So it remains in place where the future generations can experience the same sense of belonging, connection, and stability that I did. The home we hope to build is more than a set of architectural plans. It is the vision and design of my late husband. Before he passed, he poured his time, creativity, and love into designing this home that would not only meet our family's needs, but honor the land and the view we have cherished for decades. To me, this is not just a construction project. It's a chance to bring his dream to life and keep his spirit present for our children and grandchildren. Our proposal improves the property's environment, performance, while preserving its residential character. It is a minimal relief necessary to build a safe, functional home that will serve our family for generations. I respectfully ask for your approval so that we can bring his vision to life, improve the land, and carry forward a piece of my husband's legacy. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Oh, thank you for your comments. Anyone have any questions?
I just had a couple. What was your husband's first name?
Donald.
Donald. Good name. Mr. Longmore, I want to get this straight.
Mhm.
You and this gentleman here, you stated that you've pushed the house back as far as you can push it.
Yes.
due to septic. You're giving up driveways, you're giving up shed, overall reduction, if you include that easement, the road, I count 1,957 feet, pretty much.
I think, yeah, if you exclude the road from it, I think you're correct. If the road's included in it, we're reducing the lot coverage by 539 square feet.
Right, so it's going down.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good, sir.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Yes, I go back, reference to the Critical Area Commission comments again. I just, again, for reiteration, sort of like we did in the last case, at paragraph 4, where they kind of suggest because you're doing a full demolition, you ought to reset the clock to today's standards, is the way I kind of read their comment. And I figured you all would have some rebuttal or some sort of statement to that. And also, paragraph 7 kind of alludes to the same thing. I just wonder what your response to their comments are.
Sure, I mean, I can start, and then if either you want to jump in, please do. I mean, a big part of it when you look at these variances is looking at the uniqueness of the property and what warrants a variance under the critical area provisions. Again, as I mentioned in the beginning, one of the really unique things about this property is that there's already a big chunk of it taken out before you started the drawing board under the current rules. This property has existed for a long time. By admission of the Critical Area Commission in the letter in March, if this project is approved as designed, it's going to be more environmentally friendly than it exists today, and my client has every right to leave it existing as it exists today. So for those reasons, we think a modest home of this size, the allowable percentage is 18.5%. This is only 19.5%. It's 1% higher than what would be allowed without a variance. So we think we're so close to that number. It's a reasonable design. It'll be much more environmentally friendly, that because of the uniqueness of the property, a variance is warranted. And likewise, because when it's done, it's going to be more environmentally friendly than when it started. We think those are the two primary reasons why it's warranted under the critical area standards.
And if you were to remove that right away, it even goes lower.
Oh, yeah, we'd be well within it if we removed the right of way. We'd be 1,300 square feet under the limit if we did that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Doing the math in my head.
Mr. Payne, you have any comments, questions?
No questions.
Okay.
I would just note for the record, too, the house is completely out of the 100-foot buffer. I think that's apparent from the site, but just so that's clear. And I know that it was mentioned before, there are 2 comments on board docs in support of this from the neighbors. I know that's always a concern of the board, yes, that applicants reach out to their neighbors. Not only has Wendy done that, but the neighbors fully support what she's proposing. I think there's others in the audience here tonight that may speak as well.
And we really appreciate the applicant reaching out to the neighbors, right?
Yeah, it's always best to talk to your neighbors. You know, that's what Guy would always say. So
that chair, I can hear it coming out of that chair over there. That's right.
The communication. That's what it's all about. So.
Absolutely.
All right. Anybody else? No. So let's open up public testimony. Anyone wishing to testify in this case this evening? Come forward. You can come to the microphone. I'll get you sworn in, please.
Sure.
Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimonies, responses, and statements you may give will be the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
And your name and address first, please.
I'm Helen Mattingly Wernicke, and I live at 23902 Old Chaptico Wharf Lane in Chaptico, Maryland, 20621.
Okay.
I live 4 doors down from Wendy Klicka, and the 2 letters that you have are the neighbors that are in between us and them, and Wendy's house. I've been there 5 years. I, too, have the challenge of the lane crossing in across the property, so we do have great neighbors. We have a great connection in regards to allowing folks to cross our properties, but it is a challenge I built 5 years ago, and that was a part of the challenge in regards to lot coverage. And so I'm just here to say, please support this overage for Wendy, and to move forward, she's going to be improving the property She's going to take an elderly property that she has tried to maintain to the best of her ability and change it into something that is new and hopeful and fulfills the dream of her and her husband that they've had for many years. And so I hope you'll support her decision.
Okay.
And I have no qualms about her doing any of this.
Okay, thank you. Anyone have any questions for Ms. Warnicki?
Ms. Warnicki, what is your current profession?
I am a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, PenFed Realty.
So
I've
you
been
see
one
a lot of these right-of-ways, pretty standard in the county.
Absolutely. Lot coverage, the people in planning and zoning, LUGM, whatever are a wealth of information for me. A lot of times I email Nick Colvin or someone in regards to it. But a lot of these older properties, like you said, Tall Timbers, I can name a bunch of places in this county that were there. And they were started at the time for a good reason. That lane, the end of our lane is a peninsula, 4-acre, that was owned by a family forever, for generations. And so that was their lane, and it was sold off parcel by parcel through these years. And now we're all living there, and we're having this lane cross all of our property. We're all helping to maintain it. We all pitch in. We all pay a company to come in and help maintain the lane. It's keeping the property values up for everyone. And she's going to take what, I don't want to call it a blighted property, but it's an elderly property. She's taking that and improving it with a brand new construction. And so from that standpoint, she's improving the overall value, not just of our neighboring properties, but of the community as a whole. So from that standpoint, I think what she's doing is a great thing.
All right. Anybody else have any questions? Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome.
Anyone else wishing to testify this evening?
Hello?
Hi there. Do you declare and affirm under the penalty of perjury that the testimonies, responses, and statements you may give are the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And for the record, your name and address, please.
My name is Walter Caskey. I'm actually Wendy's son, only child. And you need my address or anything?
Please.
All right, 18681 Potomac Station, Leesburg, Virginia.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Mine is more of a personal comment. This property, even though it was passed on to my mom in 2007, I've been coming down here for 40 years, my entire life. So this has been a big part of my life, this property. As she mentioned, her grandchildren are here, my children are here, and they've really enjoyed the property as well, and I look forward to sharing that with them going forward. It's a huge part of our family, and I feel that it's very important to continue, the tradition of being here and sharing our time on the river, and I really, really hope that we can, support this and move forward with this.
Thank you for your comments. Any questions, comments?
No. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to testify this evening? Seeing none, we'll close all verbal and written testimony for public comment. And we open for this board discussion.
Yeah, I'll start, sir. So I just heard some tonight I haven't heard since I joined you guys in January. It sounds like this community has a road agreement and they help out, right?
I'm not so sure it's a road agreement, but it seems like to me the people that live there understand what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And they just take care of it. There's no road agreement, so that, I'm familiar with the area. So
yes, sir.
I don't think there was a road agreement.
No.
But
it looked like Miss Warnicki built a house 5 years ago. Looks like there's a newer house there, so we're not setting precedents.
Right.
They've done all they can do to work in what they got. So,
they're 1% off.
yeah.
We're not having to.
I want to bring Donald's dream to fruition. Okay.
Anyone else have any comments, any discussion?
Yeah.
Mr. Payne?
The bottom line is you're trying to replace a 69-year-old house with something new. And it actually looks good from the outside.
It does.
No.
No.
One other thing. guess I'm 2 for 2 tonight. I looked at the people that responded, and it was a Ivy League guy that's a friend of mine that responded positively. So you're in good shape if you've moved up to the Ivy.
I can't add anything to what everybody else has
No,
said.
I'm good. It looks like to me that whatever you're trying to do is to improve what you have, okay? To remove some of the old stuff on the property, clean it up, put back a new place for your children and your grandchildren to enjoy. And
Yeah, and the county, I'm sure, will get extra money for it, too.
I'm sure they will. But, anytime you're improving and making things better and protecting the environment, I'm all for it. So I'll support this. If anyone would like, if there's no other comments, then I'm open for a motion.
Read it?
Okay. In the matter of VAAP 25-1027, the ClickUp property, having made a finding that the standards for granting a variance and the objectives of Section 24.4 of the St. Mary's County Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance have been met, I move to approve the variance request from Section 41.5.3.I1 to exceed the lot coverage limits for a new dwelling with a deck, patio, and parking pad.
Have a motion,
I'll second.
Second.
and we'll start from our left.
Aye.
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 Aye. You can see that the board has voted unanimously to support your application this evening, okay? An order reflecting the board's decision will be prepared by staff and signed by the board within 60 days. A 30-day period follows from the date the order is signed, during which any aggrieved party may appeal this board's decision in circuit court. And the recording secretary will email you a copy of the order once it's been signed. Good luck.
Thank you
Okay?
very much.
You have a beautiful view.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm familiar with the area, so you have and I like your shed.
Yeah, I was going to say, I like the
It's
shed
a
too.
visitor's home, right? Is that where you're going to go?
We can't find the chairman. Look
Right.
at that shed over there.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck. Enjoy.
Thank
Enjoy.
What's Angela's?
So did everyone have an opportunity to take a look at the minutes from the July 24th meeting?
I did, sir. Had one small minor update. It says alternate member. I think July 1st I became a
Pardon me?
member.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It says alternate member next to me. I think a member is starting July 1st. That's all.
Thank
Okay.
you. We'll make the correction.
Thank you, Planner 4.
Anything else? Anybody else?
Very jovial night.
Motion to approve with the minor adjustment?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And we have two orders. The, one of them is the Pembroke Townhome Project. And that order was approved by the five of us. I just need a motion to sign.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Payne, you have one? I mean, Mr. Brown, you have one?
Yes, I believe there was the Keefe property item, and it was the issue of the an after-the-fact deck and a porch shed and stone replacement above the mean high water line. If we remember the pictures, it was a very, shall we say, rundown A-frame, and the individual that was restoring it, and this is the order associated with it. So I'm just looking for a motion for me to sign.
So moved.
He sat on the board that night, I believe.
That's why I asked him to come
okay.
up,
Yep.
because I can't vote.
So do I hear a motion for me to approve it?
Motion to approve with stipulation from Mr. Brown.
Second.
Okay, everybody, what are we?
All in favor?
All in favor, yes,
Aye.
yes.
Aye.
Any nays? So be it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, do we have, our next meeting is on the 28th. We have 3 cases. All of them are variance requests. If I see that right? Any comments? Any closing comments?
Mr. Chairman, I got this letter from Mr. Longmore. Make sure we give it to the correct person for the
Yep.
record.
Yeah, we'll turn it in, yep. Okay, anything else? Motion for adjournment.
Motion for adjournment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.